Imagine opening a brand new notebook, the pages crisp and untouched, waiting for your first words. It's both exhilarating and intimidating, isn't it? That's exactly what life feels like at every new stage. Each day, every decision you make is like writing another chapter in your story. But here's the thing. Most of us don't realize that we are the ones holding the pen. We think life is something that happens to us, a series of events that we're merely participants in, but in truth, we are the authors. From the very moment you were born, your story began. You've been writing it, whether consciously or not, through every choice you've made. The direction of your life, it's entirely up to you. The narrative you want to create, it's yours to shape. Of course, there are chapters we didn't choose, those moments that seem out of our control, the twists and turns that come unexpectedly. But even those parts of the story, those struggles and challenges, are elements that you can redefine. You can decide how you want them to fit into the bigger picture. Think of life like a book in the making. Sure, you may not know what the end looks like, but the beauty of it is that you can change it at any time. You're not stuck in the plot you've already written. At any moment, you can turn the page, change the genre, or even rewrite a chapter that doesn't feel right anymore. It's the ultimate freedom, the freedom to choose, to evolve, to grow. But it all starts with this: recognizing that you are the author. You have the power to decide who you want to be, what you want to accomplish, and how you want to experience the world. So, the next time you feel stuck or unsure, take a step back and ask yourself, am I letting life happen to me, or am I actively creating my story? When you own your role as the author, you stop being a passenger and start steering the ship. You begin to see that each decision, each thought, and each action is part of a larger narrative, a narrative that only you can write. And that's when the magic happens. Have you ever noticed how two people can experience the same event, yet walk away with completely different takeaways? One sees a challenge as a setback, while the other sees it as an opportunity for growth. This is the power of perspective. It's not the events themselves that shape our lives. It's how we choose to perceive them. Your mindset is like the lens through which you view the world. Imagine wearing glasses with a filter that only shows you one side of the story. If you're looking through a lens of doubt or fear, every obstacle might appear insurmountable, and every mistake a failure. But if you change the lens, everything changes. When you shift to a mindset of possibility, challenges become stepping stones and setbacks become lessons. Our thoughts and beliefs shape the way we navigate life. If you believe you're destined for failure, your actions will reflect that belief. But when you adopt a mindset that anything is possible, you unlock doors you didn't even know existed. Think about it. Some of the world's most successful people didn't reach their goals because they had fewer obstacles. They reached them because they believed in themselves in spite of the obstacles. Their mindset was their greatest asset. The most powerful thing about perspective is that it's completely within your control. You have the ability to change your thoughts at any moment. The moment you decide to see opportunities rather than obstacles, to embrace uncertainty rather than fear it, you open up a world of possibilities. Here's an example. Imagine facing a setback, maybe a job loss or a failed project. The typical reaction might be frustration or disappointment. But what if, instead of seeing this as a failure, you viewed it as a sign that it's time to pivot? What if you saw this as a fresh start, a chance to try something new? That shift in perspective alone can transform your approach and, ultimately, your life. Our beliefs don't just shape how we view the world, they shape how we act in the world. If you believe you're capable of greatness, you'll start taking actions that reflect that belief. If you see yourself as someone who overcomes challenges, you'll find ways to push through even the hardest times. It's this belief, this internal dialogue, that dictates your outcomes. But the most incredible part? You don't have to wait for life to change in order to change your perspective. You can start right now. Right this minute, you have the power to reframe any situation and see it in a new light. In doing so, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're changing the trajectory of your life. The power of perspective is a tool that can shape your entire story. With the right mindset, you can turn any chapter into one of growth, possibility, and transformation. So, ask yourself, what lens are you viewing your life through today? Are you seeing obstacles, or are you seeing opportunities? Life is full of crossroads, moments where you stand at a literal or figurative intersection, unsure of which direction to take. These turning points can feel daunting, but they are the moments that define your path. The choices you make in these moments are more than just decisions. They are the turning points that shape who you become and where your life leads. Every great story has those defining moments, the point where the protagonist faces a major decision that changes the course of their journey. Your life is no different, whether it's a decision to take a new job, end a toxic relationship, or make a big move to a new city. These moments, big or small, are the ones that steer you in a new direction. It's easy to think that life happens to us, that we're just going along with the flow. But in reality, life is made up of countless choices. Every day we're given the chance to either stay on our current path or take a bold step into the unknown. The beauty of these turning points is that they're rarely obvious in the moment. You don't always know when you're about to make a life-altering decision. Sometimes it's as simple as deciding to show up for an opportunity or saying yes to something you might have said no to before. Think about a moment in your life that seemed insignificant at the time, but later turned out to be pivotal. Maybe it was a chance encounter with someone who changed your perspective, or a spontaneous decision that led you to a career or place you never imagined. The power of these moments lies in the choice to act. At these crossroads, you can choose to stay in the familiar, or you can take the leap into something new. And it's not always easy. Most of the time, the new path is uncertain, uncomfortable, and filled with risk. But without making those choices, without stepping out of your comfort zone, you'll never discover the full extent of what life has to offer. The key to navigating these turning points is to be aware, to recognize when one is coming and be ready to take action. When you align yourself with your goals, these moments become clear. If you're in tune with where you want to go, you'll spot opportunities that others might overlook. But this requires action. It's not enough to know what you want. You have to take the steps to make it happen. One of the most important decisions you'll ever make is deciding to take control of your life. When you realize that you're the one making the choices, the one defining your path, everything changes. You stop waiting for things to happen, and you start making things happen. Every small choice you make, every step you take, leads you closer to the life you envision. Don't let fear or uncertainty hold you back. The most impactful decisions often come with a little discomfort, and that discomfort is a sign that you're growing, stretching beyond your limits, and becoming the person you're meant to be. Remember, life is a series of turning points, and the path you choose is yours to create. Every decision, no matter how small, has the power to shape your story. So, the next time you find yourself at a crossroads, ask yourself, am I staying on the familiar path, or am I willing to take the leap and create something new? Because at the end of the day, the choices you make today are what will define your path tomorrow. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns. One minute, everything seems to be going according to plan, and the next, you're facing a challenge that feels like it could derail everything. But here's the truth. These challenges, these setbacks, are often the most important chapters in the story of your life. They're the plot twists that, when embraced, can lead to your greatest growth and transformation. Think of your favorite stories, whether they're books, movies, or real-life experiences. The most compelling tales aren't the ones where everything goes smoothly. No, the most memorable stories are the ones where the protagonist faces obstacles, makes mistakes, and struggles, only to rise stronger, wiser, and more determined than before. These obstacles aren't just random disruptions. They're the very catalysts for change. In life, setbacks are inevitable. You will face rejection. You will encounter failure. You will experience loss and disappointment. But instead of seeing these moments as the end of your story, View them as the unexpected plot twists that make your narrative richer. Life doesn't always unfold in a linear, predictable way. Sometimes you need to veer off course, face adversity, and navigate through rough waters to discover who you truly are and what you're truly capable of. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned. We all want to succeed, and we want to do so without too much pain or hardship. But the truth is, those challenges are where the magic happens. They force you to tap into strengths you didn't know you had. They teach you lessons you couldn't have learned otherwise. And most importantly, they push you to grow in ways you couldn't have imagined before the obstacle appeared. The key is to face these challenges with courage and adaptability. When life throws you a curveball, don't shy away from it. Don't resist. Instead, embrace the discomfort, knowing that it's an opportunity to learn. Every setback is a lesson waiting to be discovered. Whether it's the loss of a job, the end of a relationship, or an unexpected detour in your plans, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience make me stronger? The beauty of life's plot twists is that they don't define you unless you let them. It's how you respond to them that matters. Do you let them break you, or do you use them to fuel your growth? The most successful people aren't those who avoid failure. They're the ones who face it head-on, learn from it, and rise from it with a new perspective. Look at some of the most successful figures in history. They all have one thing in common: failure. Thomas Edison, for example, didn't create the light bulb after just one try. He failed thousands of times. But each failure brought him one step closer to success. Oprah Winfrey was once told she wasn't fit for television. J.K. Rowling was rejected by dozens of publishers before Harry Potter became the phenomenon we know today. These plot twists didn't stop them. They fueled their passion and determination to keep going. When you face challenges, remind yourself that you're writing your own story. Every setback is a chance to rewrite the narrative and steer the plot in a new direction. Life isn't about avoiding failure or setbacks. It's about how you handle them and what you learn along the way. The challenges you face today could be the very thing that sets you up for success tomorrow. In the end, it's the plot twists, the bumps in the road, and the unexpected detours that make your story interesting. They add depth and richness to your narrative. So, the next time you face a challenge, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What's the lesson here?" Because every setback is just another opportunity for growth, another chance to turn the page and keep writing your story, one that's uniquely yours. As we reach the final chapters of our life story, the plot often becomes clearer. We realize that the most profound and fulfilling moments don't come from the accolades, the trophies, or the achievements we thought would define us. Instead, they come from the relationships we've built, the values we've held dear, and the sense of purpose we've embraced along the way. Think about the stories that stick with you. Whether they're from your own life or the lives of others, it's not the number of things people collected or the titles they held that make those stories meaningful. It's the connections they made, the love they shared, and the impact they left on the world. As the pages of your life unfold, ask yourself, what really matters? In the final chapter of your life story, the most important things will be the relationships you nurtured. The people who stood by you through thick and thin, the ones you laughed with, cried with, and built memories alongside. These are the characters that will make your story worth telling. You'll find that the time spent with loved ones, whether family or friends, was never wasted. These moments of connection will be the ones that stand out, the pages that you'll revisit with a smile in your heart. But beyond the people in your life, it's the values you've lived by that will shape your story. Have you stayed true to who you are? Or have you been swayed by the noise of the world around you? Have you prioritized kindness, integrity, and authenticity? Or have you let the pursuit of material wealth and external validation drive your choices? At the end of the day, it's your values that give your story meaning. They're the invisible thread that weaves everything together. When you live with purpose, when you choose to align your actions with your beliefs, you write a story that not only matters to you, but to others as well. Purpose is what turns a life from mere existence to something extraordinary. It's the reason you wake up each morning with intention. It's the force that propels you forward, even on the hard days. Your purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It's the quiet things too. It's the way you show up for the people around you. It's how you contribute to the world in your own unique way. When you prioritize purpose, you find that every chapter of your life has significance, and that significance gives your story depth and richness. As you move through your life, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle, the never-ending chase for success, for recognition, for more. But when you reach the final chapter, you'll realize that none of that really matters if you haven't focused on what truly makes you happy and fulfilled. It's not about how much you've accumulated or how far you've climbed. It's about how much love you've shared, how much you've grown, and how much you've given to the world. The true measure of success isn't in the material things you collect, but in the experiences you've had and the legacy you leave behind. So, as you continue writing your story, pause for a moment and reflect. Am I prioritizing what truly matters? Are you investing in the relationships that bring you joy? Are you living according to your values? Are you creating a life filled with purpose? The final chapter will be a reflection of everything that came before it, and you have the power right now to shape that ending into something beautiful and meaningful. In the end, the story you tell will not be about the things you owned or the titles you carried, but about how you loved, how you lived, and how you made a difference. Focus on what matters most, the people who matter to you, the values that guide you, and the purpose that drives you. Write your final chapter with intention, because it's these choices that will give your life the richness, depth, and meaning that truly make it worth telling.